Everyone wants passive income. Almost nobody wants what it actually takes to get it. That's the gap most people never close. You've seen the ads. Six-figure side hustles, quit your job in 90 days promises, flashy apps, flashier lifestyles. Here's the quiet truth nobody in those ads tells you. The businesses that actually make consistent money are boring. Almost embarrassingly boring. They don't trend. They don't get filmed. They don't look good in a thumbnail. But they cash a check every single month, whether the owner shows up or not. Boring isn't the opposite of profitable. Boring is usually the price of profitable. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple filter. One question you can run any business idea through to know if it's a real recurring income machine or just a hobby wearing a business costume. Let's talk about two guys. Same city, same starting cash, completely different endings. Meet Chris and Danny, both 31. Both saved up $18,000 over 3 years, working normal jobs, living in the same kind of apartment complex outside Columbus, Ohio. Both wanted out of the paycheck cycle. Both wanted passive income. Chris put his 18 grand into a trendy vending machine franchise with a slick logo and a founder who posted Lambo photos. Smart-looking machines, app-connected, felt like the future. Danny put his 18 grand into 11 unglamorous, decades-old soda and snack machines he bought secondhand from a retiring vending route owner. No app, no branding, just steel boxes bolted into break rooms and laundromat lobbies. 18 months later, Chris was still waiting on his franchise's next software update and paying monthly licensing fees that ate half his margin. Danny was clearing $1,100 a month, restocking on Saturday mornings before his kid woke up. Same money in, opposite outcomes out. The difference wasn't luck. It was what each man was actually paying for. Chris paid for a story. Danny paid for a machine that didn't need one. That's the pattern we're about to break down, piece by piece. Let's get into it. 8 businesses that make money in silence. 1. Laundromats. Ever notice nobody ever live streams themselves buying a laundromat? That's the tell. Underneath, a laundromat is just a room full of machines that get paid every time someone presses a button. No sales pitch required. No convincing anyone of anything. Across the U.S., laundromat demand barely dips in a recession. People still need clean clothes, especially renters without in-unit machines. That steadiness is the whole business model. Here's the law. Boring income survives bad years better than exciting income survives good ones. The common mistake? Buying a location without checking the wash and fold competition 3 blocks over. Undercut margins kill laundromats faster than old machines do. The irony: the flashiest entrepreneurs in town are usually renting. The laundromat owner in sweatpants is usually the landlord. 2. Vending machine routes. A vending machine is a tiny store that never argues with a customer, never calls in sick, never asks for a raise. Underneath the metal box is a simple truth. Foot traffic plus hunger equals guaranteed sales, without a single sales conversation. The real compounding mechanism is route density. One machine earning $80 a month is a hobby. 20 machines on one efficient driving route is a business, because your time per dollar collapses as the route grows. The law: money that doesn't need you to sell it is worth more than money that does. The mistake people make, like Chris, is paying for the brand instead of the machine. A branded machine and a plain steel one hold the same candy bar. Contrast line: the machine with no logo out-earned the machine with the influencer behind it. 3. Self-storage units. Ask yourself, when did you last see a storage unit advertised on social media? Never. And that's exactly why it prints money quietly. People rarely cancel storage. They mean to. They just don't get around to it. That inertia is the entire business model. Across the U.S., self-storage rents have climbed steadily for over a decade, driven by downsizing, divorces, moves, and simple clutter. Boring reasons. reliable rent. The law. The business built on human procrastination rarely goes out of business. The mistake. Overbuilding climate-controlled units in a market that doesn't need them, chasing a premium tenant who was never actually there. Ironic contrast. The ugliest metal shed in town might be quietly out-earning the glass office building next to it. 4. Car washes, specifically the unattended coin or app kind. Picture it. A rainy Tuesday, no employees, no lights on inside, and the machine is still making money. That's the whole appeal. Labor is usually the expense that eats small business profit alive. Remove the labor, and the margin stays yours. The compounding mechanism is subtle. Once it's built, most of your ongoing cost is water, soap, and light maintenance, not payroll. The law. Every employee you don't need is profit you don't have to split. The common mistake is location laziness. Plenty of car washes fail simply because nobody checked traffic counts before signing the lease. Contrast. The loudest car wash chain, with mascots and jingles, often has thinner margins than the silent one on the corner nobody notices. 5. Residential dumpster and junk removal services. Nobody dreams of running a dumpster business as a kid. That's precisely why there's so little competition in it. Underneath the unglamorous surface is a business tied to something that never stops happening. People move, renovate, and clean out. Trash never goes out of style. The compounding piece is repeat commercial contracts. One property management company that hires you for every unit turnover is worth more than 50 one-time residential jobs. The law. Whoever handles what everyone else avoids gets paid what everyone else won't ask for. The mistake is underpricing early to build a reputation, then getting stuck as the cheap option forever. Contrast. The guy in stained coveralls hauling debris is often out-earning the guy in the pressed suit 2 offices down. 6. ATM ownership and placement. Ever wonder who actually owns the ATM inside a smoke shop or a dive bar? Usually not the shop owner. Usually somebody quietly collecting a surcharge every time a card gets declined and cash gets pulled instead. The mechanism underneath is simple. Every withdrawal generates a small fee. Multiply that by a busy location, and it adds up without a single conversation happening. Across the U.S., cash use has dropped in general, but in cash-heavy businesses, bars, laundromats, small retail, ATM demand hasn't disappeared, it's concentrated. The law. A business that earns a few dollars per transaction, thousands of times, beats a business that earns thousands once. The mistake is placing a machine in a location with declining foot traffic and never revisiting the contract. Contrast. The machine costs less than most people's monthly car payment, and it can out-earn that car payment within a year. 7. Mobile home or land lot rentals. Here's a question most people never ask. Who owns the ground under a mobile home community? Rarely the residents. Almost always one quiet landlord collecting lot rent every month. The reframe is important. You're not renting the home, you're renting the dirt. And dirt doesn't need repairs the way a house does. Over time, this compounds through low turnover. Moving a mobile home is expensive and inconvenient, so residents stay for years, and lot rent keeps arriving. The law. Own the thing that's hardest to leave, and you own the income that's hardest to lose. The common mistake is buying into a park with deferred infrastructure problems, old sewer or water lines nobody disclosed. Contrast. The flashiest real estate investor at the meetup is flipping condos for headlines, while the quiet one is collecting lot rent from 90 pads nobody talks about. 8. Automated car detailing or pressure washing subscriptions. Picture a driveway getting pressure washed on a set schedule, on autopilot, billed monthly, no phone call required. The shift here isn't the service, it's the billing model. A one-time $300 power wash job is a transaction. A $40 monthly subscription for the same driveway is a relationship. The compounding comes from stacking subscribers on a fixed route, so your fuel and time cost per customer keeps shrinking as the list grows. The law. A subscription turns a single sale into a slow, repeating stream. That's the entire difference between income and a paycheck. The mistake is undercharging to win subscribers fast, then being locked into a low rate for a year. Contrast. The guy chasing one-off jobs is always hustling. The guy with 40 subscriptions is doing dishes while the money lands. So what actually connects all 8 of these? Every single one removes a middleman between the work and the money. Not the labor, the conversation, the convincing, the constant selling. Let's make it concrete. Say you put $5,000 into 2 vending machines instead of a flashy course or a trendy franchise. Those machines don't need your charisma. They don't need your marketing budget. They need restocking and a working lock. If they clear $150 a month combined, in 3 years, that's over $5,000 back. And the machines are still yours, still working, long after any course expires. Compare that to a subscription like a streaming service. You pay monthly for access. A boring business flips that. Someone else pays you monthly for access to a clean laundromat, a working ATM, a plowed driveway. Here's your filter for any future money decision. Does this asset get paid whether or not I personally show up today? If the answer is no, it's a job wearing a disguise. If the answer is yes, you might be looking at real, recurring income. Wealthy people, the quiet kind, not the loud kind, don't chase the next hot idea. They chase the next boring asset nobody else wants to own. They don't ask, what's exciting? They ask, what's durable? They don't need applause for the business. They need the deposit to hit on the 15th. Remember the promise from the start of this video, the framework you could apply to your own money? That's it. That's the whole filter. Boring, repeatable, and paid whether you show up or not. So here's a real question for you. Of these 8, which one could you actually start with what you already have saved right now? Drop it in the comments. It helps shape which one we break down in full detail next. If you want more research-based breakdowns like this one, instead of hype, subscribe and turn on notifications. That's it.